breast milk destroys one of the most unique and most controversial of Jehovah's Witness doctrines. The witnesses teach that because of the verse in the Old Testament forbidding the eating of blood, and because of the verse in the New Testament about abstaining from eating blood, that means that you cannot have medical products that are blood or blood derived, with an asterisk there at the end. So they say eating is the same as injecting. Okay. They then say that it's not just blood things that are derived from blood. They say the four major components: red and white blood cells, plasma, and platelets. These are the visible bands that blood will separate into and spun in a centrifuge. This is not a medical definition. Nowhere will you find a medical text that says there are four major components of blood. It's made up. It's an arbitrary thing decided by Watchtower. One of those components is white blood cells, or leukocytes. There's an article that says that leukocytes are white blood cells. I will link below. So you can't eat or inject leukocytes because Bible. Here's a problem with that. God designed the breasts, the lovely, lovely breasts. They're fun to look at, and they feed your baby. Well, breast milk contains 100 times the concentration of white blood cells as would be found in your blood. So a baby is committing 100 times the sin of a blood transfusion per unit of volume every time you feed your infant child. That right there should torpedo the whole doctrine. God designed the boob. God designed the breast milk. The breast milk has white blood cells in it, therefore you should be able to administer white blood cells, because if you can eat them, then you should be able to inject them. If it goes one way, eating means injecting, then it should go the other way too. This means no, this means yes. That should be the end of it. And I'm sure that there are witness apologetics that can come up with the mental gymnastics needed to say how somehow this is, that doesn't count, that doesn't really apply. But it would be really hard to make them sound logical. One of the arguments used to, there are many points in this doctrine where the logic is faulty. One is the assertion that eating something is equivalent to using it medically. The Watchtower uses the comparison of alcohol. How if your doctor said not to drink alcohol, you also wouldn't inject it. That is a very specific case because it's a chemical that doesn't need to be digested in order to have it's the same effect as eating as administering it via injection. If your doctor said, I need you to avoid red meat, it's bad for your heart, I don't know, it'll interfere with the medication you're taking, some other reason. That wouldn't stop you from getting a kidney transplant, or a liver transplant, or a heart transplant. Eating a heart and having a heart transplant are completely different things. They accomplish completely different things. One, eating it will give you nutrition. Your body will break it down and you'll have energy and minerals and so forth. Having it put in medically, now it produces a function. It pumps or filters blood, heart, liver, kidneys. It's not at all the same thing. It is completely, completely different. Eating and drinking blood, the same way. They say, oh, they're both used to sustain life. Well, that's a big ass stretch, isn't it? Because drinking blood may provide you with nutrients, but it doesn't increase the oxygen carrying capacity of your blood. Both of them sustain life, but breathing sustains life. Eating food sustains life. Taking vitamins sustain life. They're all very different things. It's just it's the broadest brush that you could paint it with, where it sounds like they're the same when they are not. theologically, you can argue that even if those things were logical, that there are exceptions in the Bible, and that there are principles in the Bible where human life, the value of human life, would take precedence over strict following of the law code. I'm not particularly interested in them because the fact that white blood cells are fed to babies in what witnesses would see as the God-designed system should be enough. If the baby can eat it, then you should also be able to inject it. And if you can inject white blood cells, a major component, why not the other things? It's not the same. The asterisk that I mentioned about you can't accept blood-derived medicine is where things get even more illogical. This doesn't have to do with breast milk, but it's stupid, and it further makes the whole argument even dumber. You can have blood fractions. This is a conscience matter. So you can have, if you take a white blood cell and break it down, or plasma or red blood cells, and break it down into smaller components, somehow this is a gray area, and now you can decide whether or not, it's not an obvious sin. If I steal a car, there is no component of the car that is legally mine to sell. I can't, it's not just like, oh, you can't sell the engine, the transmission, the tires, or the body. But you know, the seat buckles or the bolts or whatever, you can sell those. The whole thing, if the whole thing is a crime, or in this case a sin, then any part of that is also. An argument I've seen that I think is very good, I think it was from JW Facts, is if Eve was commanded not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, what if she just essenced the peel? What if she extracted the vitamin C from it? Would that have been okay? Logically, I think you would say no, that's really stupid. Quite a stretch. What if she just licked it a little bit? She didn't actually eat it. Or she turned it into an essential oil and vaporized it with her, pre-Stone Age technology. The blood doctrine is illogical on many, many levels, but there's a clear-cut thing where there is not room for debate. I would love to see the mental gymnastics to explain it away. Again, breast milk, 100 times the concentration of white blood cells as blood. God designed the baby to eat it. Should be the end of the debate. Bring it up with a witness. See what they say. See how they react. I would love to know. I have not had the opportunity to do that yet. I think it would be entertaining. I would love to see the gears grind to a halt and the smoke start to come out of the ears. I would love to see them make excuses. It'd be very interesting to hear. Anyway, that was my semi-brief thought. Blood is okay. If it is medically sound, there's no reason not to take it. You should give blood. It helps other people. Until we can artificially create it, all that we've got is the supply that is donated. So, help out your fellow human being, and have a great day.